I overheard my wife whisper, "I can't let him know I met with a lawyer." The words shattered me. We had been struggling, but I thought we were working through it. That night, I checked her emails. The subject line made my heart stop. Finalizing the settlement. I confronted her at dinner. She blinked, then smiled. "I was hoping you'd find out this way," she said, sliding a document toward me. It wasn't divorce papers. It was a contract. Read the last page. I wasn't supposed to hear it. I had just stepped into the hallway when I caught the whisper. Soft, barely audible, but enough to rip through me like a blade. "I can't let him know I met with a lawyer." I froze. My fingers clenched the edge of the doorframe as my breath hitched. What did she just say? My wife, Emily, had been distant for months. I thought it was stress, work life, the usual struggles. Sure, we had our problems. Who doesn't? But we were working through them. Or so I believed. The words lingered in the air, twisting in my mind. A lawyer? For what? She was in the kitchen, her back to me, speaking in hushed tones into her phone. I could only catch bits and pieces. "No, he doesn't suspect anything. We're finalizing it soon. I just need more time." The room tilted. A cold sweat prickled down my spine. Divorce. It had to be divorce. I took a shaky step back, heart pounding. The woman I'd built my life with, the woman I trusted, was planning to leave me behind my back. I didn't confront her. Not then. Instead, I did something I never thought I'd do. That night, after Emily fell asleep, I checked her emails. Hands trembling, I scrolled through her inbox, scanning subject lines until my breath hitched. My world cracked. I clicked it open. A law firm's name at the top. Formal, cold language confirming that the necessary documents were nearly ready. Everything inside me twisted. How long had you been planning this? I stared at her, sleeping soundly beside me, her face peaceful. Deceptively so. Morning came like a bad dream. I went through the motions, shaving, dressing, making coffee, all while the email burned in my mind. I had to confront her. I had no why. Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. Emily was calm, sipping her wine like nothing was wrong. I set my fork down, looked her dead in the eye. "I saw your email." She blinked. Then she smiled. Not nervous. Not guilty. Smug. "I was hoping you'd find out this way," she said, reaching for something in her bag. She slid a document across the table. Not divorce papers. A contract. "Read the last page," she murmured. I did, and my blood turned to ice. My fingers tightened around the pages as I skimmed through them. My pulse pounded in my ears. The words blurred together. Legal jargon, clauses, conditions, but one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't about divorce. This was worse. At the bottom of the last page, my name was printed neatly beside an empty signature line. I swallowed hard, my gaze shifting back to Emily. She wasn't nervous, wasn't anxious. If anything, she looked amused. I forced my voice to stay steady. "What is this?" She leaned forward, resting her chin on one hand. "Go on, keep reading." I flipped back through the pages, this time forcing myself to focus. A business contract. A settlement agreement. My heart pounded. The words sank in like lead. The company. My company. I built it from the ground up. Poured my blood, sweat, and sleepless nights into it. It was my legacy. And now, right in front of me, was a document that would strip it away. I felt sick. Emily's voice was sweet, almost mocking. "I tried to do this the easy way, Daniel. I really did." She sipped her wine. "But you never saw it coming, did you?" I clenched my jaw. "What the hell are you talking about?" She sighed, tilting her head. "You were so trusting, so predictable. I warned you about taking on a partner without legal safeguards." She gestured toward the contract. "And now? Well, let's just say your little oversight made things much easier for me." I shook my head, trying to process. "You had me sign something that gave me leverage over your company?" "Yeah." She smirked. "And now I have full control." "Well, almost." My stomach twisted. "Why? Why would you do this?" Her expression darkened. "Because you forgot what we started together, Daniel. I was there from the beginning. I was the one who believed in you when no one else did." Her voice turned cold. "And yet, you kept pushing me out." Memories flashed through my mind. Late nights in our small apartment, Emily helping me draft business proposals, celebrating every milestone together. But that was years ago. Things changed. She changed. "You're taking revenge?" I asked, incredulous. She exhaled slowly, almost disappointed. "Oh, Daniel, this isn't revenge." She leaned in, voice low. "This is reclaiming what's mine." I gritted my teeth, fighting the anger bubbling inside me. I wanted to yell, to throw the contract in her face, to do something. But losing control wouldn't help me. I needed to be smart. I glanced down at the document again, pretending to read, but my mind was racing. There had to be a way out. A loophole. Something. Emily studied me, eyes sharp. "You're not as good at hiding your thoughts as you think," she mused. "But go ahead, take your time. The lawyer's already reviewed it. It's airtight." I met her gaze. "I'm not signing this." She smirked. "You don't have a choice." I stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. "We'll see about that." Emily just smiled, watching me like she had already won. As I stormed out, one thing was clear: this wasn't over. I didn't go home. Not right away. I drove through the city, headlights blurring in the rain-streaked windshield, my grip tight on the steering wheel. My mind spun, replaying every word, every smirk, every lie. Emily had played me. For years. And I had let her. I pulled into an empty parking lot and killed the engine. The contract sat on the passenger seat, mocking me. My company, my life's work, dangling by a thread because of one mistake. No, I wasn't going to roll over and let her take everything. I reached for my phone and scrolled through my contacts. One name stood out: Eric Calloway, corporate lawyer, an old friend, someone I hadn't spoken to in years. I hit dial. A groggy voice answered. Daniel? It's midnight. I need your help, I said, voice tight. Emily's trying to take my company. That woke him up. What? Rustling on his end. Start from the beginning. I told him everything. The contract, the deception, the trap I had walked into. Eric listened in silence. When I finished, he exhaled sharply. Damn, that's cold. You don't know the half of it. I ran a hand through my hair. Tell me there's a way out. A pause. Send me the contract. I'll go through it. I snapped a picture of every page and sent them over. Minutes passed. My foot tapped anxiously against the floorboard. Then, Eric's voice came back, slower this time. I see the problem. She's smart. This is airtight. My stomach sank. But he hesitated. I gritted my teeth. But what? There's a small chance. A very small one. I gripped the phone tighter. I'll take it. Eric sighed. The contract hinges on the assumption that she was a legal co-founder, that she played an equal role in the company's formation. I frowned. She was there in the beginning. She helped. Helping and legally co-founding are two different things, Eric said. If we can prove that she wasn't officially listed as a co-founder in the original agreements, this contract falls apart. Hope sparked in my chest. I have the original documents, I said quickly. Somewhere in storage. Find them, Eric said. And do it fast. If she beats you to it and destroys any evidence, you're screwed. I ended the call and floored the gas pedal. I didn't sleep. By the time the sun rose, I was knee-deep in old files, papers scattered across my office floor. Years of contracts, financial reports, legal filings, everything I'd ever signed. And then, buried beneath stacks of old paperwork, I found it. The original company registration. One name was listed under founder. Mine. Emily's name was nowhere. A slow, sharp grin spread across my face. Got you. I grabbed my phone, ready to call Eric when a shadow moved in the doorway. Emily. She leaned against the frame, arms crossed, watching me. Her eyes flicked to the document in my hand. And just for a second, a split second, her mask slipped. She knew. She knew I had found a way out. But instead of panic, she smiled. Slow. Calculated. You really think that's enough? She murmured. Something in her tone sent a chill down my spine. She had a backup plan. Of course she did. And suddenly, I realized this wasn't just about my company. This was bigger, darker, and I had just stepped into a game I didn't fully understand. Emily's eyes locked onto mine. Calculated. Cold. But there was something else lurking beneath them. Amusement. She knew I had the document. She expected me to find it. My grip tightened on the paper. This is over, I said. Your contract is worthless. You were never a legal co-founder. You have no claim. Her smirk deepened. Oh, Daniel. You always think so small. She stepped inside, her heels clicking against the hardwood. Do you really believe this is just about a contract? My stomach twisted. What else have you done? She sighed, tilting her head. You should be asking what you've done. I frowned. What the hell does that mean? She walked over to my desk, trailing a finger across the stacks of papers, eyes scanning my mess of documents. Then, she picked up a folder, one I hadn't touched in years. A file on old financial dealings. Investments. Money transfers. She flipped it open, then slid a single sheet toward me. I glanced down, and my blood ran cold. It was a financial transaction. A wire transfer made in my name. A large sum, sent to an offshore account. One I had never opened. My eyes snapped to hers. This is fake. She shrugged. Maybe. A beat. Maybe not. My pulse pounded. What did you do? Her smile widened. I didn't do anything, Daniel. You did. A sinking feeling settled in my gut. She had set me up, framing me for fraud. My mind raced. If this kind of money had been funneled somewhere under my name, without my knowledge, then it meant one thing. She had been planning this for years. Carefully, methodically, perfectly. I inhaled sharply. Why go this far? Her expression darkened. Because you owe me. I shook my head. Owe you? For what? For everything. Her voice was sharp now. Clipped. I gave you everything, Daniel. I stood by you when no one else would. I sacrificed. I waited. And in the end, you made all the decisions. You built the company your way. You shut me out. Her fist clenched. So now, I'm making sure you know what that feels like. I exhaled slowly, forcing my anger down. I needed clarity. Control. I couldn't afford to react emotionally. I looked back at the document, the fake transaction. This was her real weapon, not the contract, not the company. If she had evidence of financial fraud under my name, she could ruin me. Not just take my business, destroy my entire life. And worse, she knew it. Emily stepped back. Smoothing out her blouse like this was just another business meeting. So here's what's going to happen. She leaned in. Her voice was a whisper. You're going to sign the contract. My jaw clenched. If you don't, she continued, this little document, she tapped the fraudulent transaction. Goes straight to the authorities. Silence stretched between us. She thought she had me. She thought I would break. But she had miscalculated something. Something important. I wasn't the same gullible husband she had manipulated for years. I was done playing her game. I met her gaze. Steady. Controlled. And then I smiled. You just made your first mistake. Her smirk faltered. Excuse me. I lifted the document, the fake transaction, and held it between us. You're bluffing. Her eyes flickered. I pressed on. If you really had solid evidence, you wouldn't be standing here, Tchartining me. I leaned forward. You would have already taken me down. Emily's jaw tensed. Just for a second. But I caught it. I had hit a nerve. She wasn't as untouchable as she thought. I stood, keeping my voice calm. So here's what's actually going to happen. I'm not signing a damn thing. I tossed the contract onto the desk between us. Her nostrils flared. I took a step closer, lowering my voice. And now, I'm going to expose you. Emily's face hardened. You don't have the power to stop me. I smiled. We'll see. The war had just begun. Emily's smirk was gone. For the first time, I saw something flicker in her eyes. Uncertainty. Good. She had spent years orchestrating this plan, weaving a web of manipulation, convinced I'd crumble the moment she sprung her trap. But she had made a crucial mistake. She underestimated me. I turned, grabbed my phone, and dialed. The call rang once before Eric picked up. Tell me you found something, I said, keeping my voice even. A pause. Then his voice came through, tight and urgent. I found everything. Emily stiffened. I held her gaze as Eric continued. She's been siphoning company funds for months. Small amounts at first, buried in routine transactions. But lately, huge sums, all funneled into an offshore account under a shell company. A beat. The same offshore account that supposedly belongs to you. My breath slowed. A cold, sharp realization cut through me. She hadn't just framed me for fraud. She had been stealing from my company while setting me up to take the fall. Eric's voice dropped lower. Daniel, this isn't just a hostile takeover. This is criminal. Emily's expression didn't change, but I saw the way her fingers curled into fists. She knew. I ended the call and slid my phone into my pocket. You were thorough. I admitted, my voice calm. You forged financial records. You planted evidence. You built an airtight case against me. I took a step closer. But you got greedy. Her jaw clenched. I smiled. And now, you're the one trapped. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Then, slowly she exhaled. And the mask she had worn for years, the perfect, composed wife, finally cracked. She wasn't amused anymore. She was furious. You think you've won? She whispered. I don't think. I reached in my desk drawer, pulled out a flash drive, and tossed it onto the table between us. I know. Emily's eyes flicked to it. This has every transaction you made under my name. Every fraudulent move. Every misstep. It's all there. I leaned in. And I'm not the only one who has a copy. For the first time, Emily looked cornered. She opened her mouth, then closed it. She was calculating, searching for a way out. But there wasn't one. Not this time. I picked up the contract, the one she had tried to force me to sign, and ripped it in half. You lose. A muscle in her jaw twitched. She inhaled sharply, smoothing her expression, rebuilding her walls. Then she straightened, brushing invisible dust off her sleeve, and gave me one last, bitter smile. No, Daniel. Her voice was quiet, controlled, dangerous. I just ran out of time. With that, she turned and walked out the door. I didn't stop her, because I didn't need to. By morning, she'd be drowning in legal battles, federal investigations, and the mess she had created for herself. And me? I had my company, my name, my life. But it didn't feel like a victory, because the woman I had once loved, the woman I had trusted, was gone. Or maybe she had never been real to begin with. 2 weeks later, I sat in my office, staring at the city skyline. The damage she had done was fixable. The legal battle was ongoing, but I would win. I had truth on my side. But the scars she left behind, those would take longer to heal. A soft knock at the door. Eric stepped inside, a folder in hand. It's over, he said. I nodded. Yeah. He hesitated. She made a deal. I looked up. Emily, he clarified. She cut a deal with the feds. She'll serve time, but not as much as she should. I exhaled, staring at the desk. Of course she did. Eric studied me. You okay? I gave a short, dry laugh. I don't know. Silence stretched between us. Then, he dropped the folder on my desk. There's something else you should see. I frowned, opening it. Inside were more financial records. More transactions. More secrets. My stomach twisted. What is this? Eric sighed. Proof that Emily wasn't working alone. I gripped the edge of the folder as the realization hit me. This wasn't just her plan. There was someone else. Watching. Waiting. And they weren't done yet. The game wasn't over. It was just beginning.